Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thanks for joining us for this lesson. We're going to be talking about getting some fresh ideas to play over common chord progressions. A lot of times we get stuck playing the same thing over chord progressions. We just see the same chord and we play the same thing all the time. We get kind of tired of your own playing after a while. I know I do. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I do in my professional playing to keep some fresh ideas going. So there is a practice track that goes along with this that I'm going to be referring to. And so that the link for that is in the YouTube description down below, so you can play along in your own practice time with actually the same track that I was using for this. So we're going to start off with some basic chords. Chords that you're going to see all the time. I thought I'd put it in the key of G, a real good, safe key. And we're going to use 4 chords. G, C, D, and then I snuck in one E minor in there, just to give a little variation there. Now, if you listen closely, this is going to be the chord progression for Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. This is the verse chord progression that I just thought I would loop that. It just lends itself to a real good groove that we can explore some things on top of. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to learn about thirds, which is what we use in Brown Eyed Girl, and then the lesson 2 times from now is going to be an actual thing where I'm actually teaching Brown Eyed Girl. Some of you have requested that, so I will go ahead and teach that for you, and so we're building our way up to Brown Eyed Girl. So to get us started off with, though, I wanted to get this idea of approaching chords in a different lens, in a different way. Okay, so let's get started. I wrote down just everything I think of. I got 16 things on my list. So we're just going to, let me talk you through them and I'll illustrate them along as well. The first thing is, as we play the track, what typically we can do is play open chords, okay? G's, C's, and D's, and strum. So I'm going to do that. We're going to turn the track on, and then I'm going to strum. Now, before we get the track started, we'll just kind of knock out a couple of these. I'm going to try strumming, just pure strumming. Then I'm going to try a little bit more of a finger-picking approach. And then for the third thing of this first section, I'm going to try finger-picking the chords, but adding a few little notes here and there to kind of help lead into the voicings of the other chords. So I'll talk you through it. So let's get the track going, and then I will talk you through what I'm going to do. And these are some ideas that you can do. So it starts off with just the regular chords. G, C, D, G, C. And this is what everybody's going to be playing. And so it's a 16-bar progression. There it is. So as we let the track run, that's the progression. So what everybody's going to be doing is just open chords just like that. If we just threw this up, 95% of the guitar players would play exactly what I just played there, strumming open chords, which is fine and cool. It's just sometimes you want to do something different, something new. All right, so that's what we're going to explore now. I can arpeggiate those chords. So I'm going to do the same open voicings, but instead of just full strums, I'm going to arpeggiate them. So I haven't changed my voicings at all. I'm just arpeggiating. Not a bad way to do it, just keep the track going. So that's one way I could do it. I could strum it, and I can arpeggiate it for something different. Now, here's another idea. I can take those arpeggiations and I'm going to create little melody lines, a little occasional note here and there to create a little melodic line going through there. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, here we go. turn the track off for a second. Let me explain what I was doing there. There, instead of just arpeggiating the chords, which that's cool, I added a few little notes here and there. Okay, well, what am I doing there? Just take a chord. First one I was doing was a G. And I was having the B, the second string B, as the melody note there, the highest note. And so I went just kind of up the scale. B, C, D. And then the next chord's a C chord. So I went down to the C note. And since I did 3 notes up that time, I'm going to do 3 notes up to this time. C, D, E. It doesn't really matter what notes I'm playing, just as long as they kind of make some music along the way. When we got to the D, I maybe did a D suspended. Maybe to the open E, open to the F sharp. So each chord has its own little combinations of notes that I could use. C, I could do maybe a D, an E, a G, maybe a B to a C, to the G. I could do maybe a C, a D, an E. So there's really only 3 or 4 notes that you can do with each chord, but you combine these around to make little melodies. So that may take a little bit of practice. That's a little bit more of an advanced skill. But if you can do that, you can see how it immediately just opened up what is truly a 4-chord progression. Actually, a 3-chord progression with just 1 bar of an extra chord in there. So that's kind of the first things that we can do, is these open chords. We did strumming, which is what everybody's going to do. We did arpeggios, which is just single notes out of those same chords. And then I added these extra notes in there. Okay, so that's 3 different options you could do right there to create some. Each one of them has a very different sound. Now, so let's take a look at another one, another way to do this. What can I do? I can do, instead of these open chords, maybe I can do power chords. Okay, so I'm going to do power chords. I'm not going to change my sound or tone or anything. I'm just going to do power chords. Power chords are chords without the 5th, kind of root, 5th, octave, 1, 3rd finger, 4th finger. So then I can do a G power chord, C power chord, D power chord, E. Maybe I could do an upper power chord, G, D, G, G, D, G. Maybe I could do that. Hey, maybe I could invert a power chord. So if I go G, D, G, and then it goes to the C chord, maybe I can just go. See what I did there? I just inverted the power chord. Let's see how that sounds. So we'll just do pure power chords. I'll strum them first, and then we'll do some finger picking. So we'll just kind of strum them and chunk them first. So let's get the track going again. 1, 2, power chords now. What if I just pick individual notes on those power chords? Upper power chords. There's a couple options right there. Again, each one of them has a little bit different flavor with them. All right, so let's turn the track off and let's talk about the next batch that I can do. So we've already done, 5 different things I can do with those same chords. I did open chords, strumming, fingerpicked, adding some notes. I did power chords, lower ones, upper ones, strumming, individual note ones. What else can I do? I'm on my 6th one here. I can do inversions. All right, so let's talk about that. Now we did a whole course on triads and learning about those. If you want to know about that, that's in our playlist section of our YouTube channel. It's all free. And there's a big old PDF that goes along with this and all of that as well. We're just kind of giving a big overview of some things that you can do. Another thing that I can do is things based off of inversions. So what is inversions? Well, this is a G chord, but if you think, it's just actually made up of 3 notes, a G, a B, and a D. A G, a B, and a D. So if I can as long as I combine those notes in whatever order, it still ends up being a G chord. So this is a G chord, but this also is a G chord. And this is a G chord. These are just inversions. So I'm just, instead of going B, D, G, I'm going D, B, G. And now I'm going G, B, D. So each one of these has a little different twist to it, a little different flavor to it. Well, if I did a 4-note inversion of this G chord, I end up with this sort of a shape. B, up here at the 7th position, B, D, G, and a B. Bar down there. If I went to the C chord and I wanted to stay around there, I end up with this sort of a shape. C, E, G, and then it barred down to the C. For the D chord, well, I can just scoot up. For the E minor, well, I could do, the bottom half of an E minor like that if we wanted to just stay kind of in the same neighborhood. So let's just hear how those sound. Those, let me get my notes going here again. Let's take a look at here how those sound. So I'm just going to strum them first, and then we'll do some finger picking with them. So that's cool and all. Keep the track going. Now, if I have another guitar player and he's playing these big open chords, the last thing I need to be doing as a second guitar player is playing the same thing he's doing. So if he's playing these strumming big open chords, then I might play up here as an electric player. I might play up here, different inversion. What if I just arpeggiated those? So let's arpeggiate those when it comes around here again. Here we go. I'm just starting to arpeggiate once. What if I keep the track going? What if I added my little single notes here and there, just like I did with my open chords? Can I do that? Let's hear how that sounds. So I switched to a different D instead of going to the upper one. I went to this lower one there. It just kind of seemed to land a little bit better. So with those, I was able to go through my same things again. I can strum them, I can arpeggiate them, and then I can add these other notes. another option. But force yourself. Is it magical? Is it the ultimate thing? No, it's just another option. But that's what makes your playing different. If every time you see a G and a C, you immediately go here, which is what everybody's going to do, force yourself. I have to force myself mentally to just do something different. I just declare, I'm not going to play that. Okay, and so then I have to go, okay, I have to figure out something else that's going to work. And it's in that you're forcing yourself to be creative, that you really get some good things. You can be surprised sometimes the things you can get out of it. So we did inversions like that. Let's do 3-note inversions. Let's just do the top. So instead of the full 4-note, I'm just going to do 3-note. Maybe for E minor I could do that. Well, what can I do there? Well, maybe I can do a little backbeat thing. So let me put it here to my treble. And I'm just going to do a little backbeat thing on 2 and 4. So let's get the track going, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. 1, just 2 and 4. So I'm not saying it's the most exciting thing in the world, but I'm saying it's an option. If you're playing a song, it's got a groove, and you're trying to find a guitar part that works, and you got keyboards and all sort of stuff, one of the easiest and best things that you can do is do this. I played a job in San Antonio one time with the Fifth Dimension. Man, do you remember the Fifth Dimension way back when? I played a gig. I was just a hired gun and came in and played with the Fifth Dimension and kind of read their whole show all night long. It was great. It was a corporate thing. But I remember I came in as a young player and thinking, oh well, I'm just they're a big group. I'm gonna play fancy stuff all night long. We got through the first couple of songs in the rehearsal, and the music director said, "Hey, guitar player, this is what I want you to do all night long." Just backbeat all night long. Great. That's what I did all night long, was backbeat. Now, if you add another little beat to that and kind of make it, instead of a quarter note, make it 2 eighth notes, you get kind of a reggae feel. So put it on again, and we'll do the same thing. I'm just going to do reggae feel. Just 2 eighth notes. Now, what helps in doing the reggae thing is to really kind of keep the hand going over here. That's what keeps it going. If you try and just go, it kind of gets a little wonky on you, so it helps to keep that hand going. Okay, great. All right, so, man, we've talked through open chords. We've talked through inversions. We've talked through power chords. We've done reggae chunks. We've done upper inversions and things like that. Wow. We're on about, I've shown you 9 different things you can do. Let's go to another level. What else can I do? Well, hey, I can do intervals, okay? Paul Jackson Jr. talks about this, the idea of doing intervals. Well, the first thing that I can do is maybe just one note. We're in the key of G, so I'm going to play a G. And when it goes to a C chord, maybe I could go to a C, or I could maybe still stay on the G, because a G note is in a C chord, C, E, G. What happens when it goes to the D? Well, I could go to a D note, an A, an F sharp. Any note, single note within that chord while it's in effect will work. And I can do a little Paul Jackson Jr., great studio guitarist in Los Angeles. I can do a little muted groove like he does. So let's talk about that. Or let's get the track going, and I'll show you what that sounds like then. Maybe I can add some other notes in there. Good. Turn the track off. Hey, you know what that sounds like without the track? You can still hear the chords changing underneath it, even though I'm doing one note. Well, what am I doing? Oh, well, there's the root, and I'm playing the fifth and the sixth. Sometimes I'll skip up here to the third. Man, I can't tell you, that little technique has put food on my table. So many times I've been in a situation where I'm supposed to sound fabulous and I don't know what the key is, or I don't know what the chords are and all that sort of stuff. And my immediate thing to do is that Paul Jackson Jr. technique, because I can do this. And as long as the chords are in the key, I'm not trying to keep up with the chords. I'm just smiling and going. Do I know what the chords are? Don't have a clue. I'm just smiling, and I've created a funky little guitar part. That's a little trick, a little pro trick for you. You can always do that sort of a part. Well, another thing I can do, rather than this Paul Jackson Jr. stuff, is I could add thirds to it. So instead of doing full chords, I can just do two parts of that chord, the G and the B. I'm just doing a third, G, A, B. So what's a G scale? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And I'm just going to do it in thirds. What if I just did that all the way up the neck? What if I put a third on top of it, a G and a B, A and a C, B and a D, C and an E, D and an F sharp, E and a G, F sharp and A. Okay, so that's the pattern. 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 2 and 1. If you want to think about it, it's always going by twos, but it just starts in between them. Then it's 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and then 1 of these. So I could do thirds. So it might take you a little bit of time to kind of figure out the notes of that, but let's hear how that sounds. So here we go. Let's get the track going. I'm just going to play those. Cool little guitar part. What am I doing? Now, you have to switch around a little bit. Which ones? You may have to experiment around. Sometimes over a D chord, you want to hit that one, or maybe the F sharp and the A. That would work. So certain ones of them are better choices to make over certain chords, but your ear will tell you that. Basically, you've only got about 8 different ones to play with. Just start messing around with them. You don't necessarily have to go purely up. Just jump around. Add a little bit of muting. Hey, those are good middle voicing chords. What if I did thirds maybe on the higher strings? What if I just put, instead of the G and the B there, I did a G and a B here? I'll give you a hint. It's the same fingering. G and a B, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Get a little high here in the stratosphere, but maybe we can do them underneath it. And go down a little bit with them. So let's hear how that sounds. The upper inversions now. What if I did just kind of did the thirds, but I'm just playing them offset. Hey, there you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Starting to sound like a guitar part there. That's what makes it. Okay, the player playing this saw the same G chord that you see, but he made a choice to not go. He thought, hey, that's cool. I'll do that. What if we get to the C chord? I'll do the same thing. What if we get to the G chord? Do the same thing. D chord, I could do the same thing. That works. I'm just going up 3, up and back. It's just an idea. But these little ideas can end up being the seed, the hook for that song. Okay? So let me get my notes good. I'm going again here. So we've covered, those are some good ones. We did thirds. We did lower voicings. We did upper voicings. We can do... we talked about single note groove stuff. What else can we do? Oh, we can do sixths. Okay, well here's a G and a B. What if I lowered that B an octave? So do you see how a third and a sixth, they're just the inverse of each other. They're the flip of each other. So then I end up with this sort of combination. I know there's some individual fingering changes that are happening there. That's what we're going to learn next time. But I just wanted to introduce the concept to you. So those are sixths. They get a little bit of a different sound. I always thought sixths get a little bit more of a Caribbean, kind of a Latin sound. So we're going to turn the track again, and I'm going to mess around in sixths. Let me do these middle ones. Sixth, they work great. They work just like thirds. And you can create all kinds of little moving lines with just noodling around in sixth. We'll talk more about that in the next lesson, but a lot of great things you can do with sixth. Okay, what else can we do? We're on the home stretch. I can do, what am I on? I'm on the 13th one now. I can do little dyads. What if I took a little two-note combination, a G and a maybe the fifth underneath it. Oh, well, that's one thing I could do. I could slide around fourths and fifths. Do the old... kind of the R&B sort of a technique. So let's try it, and let me just do that for you. Another thing that I can do is I can add little single notes with those dyads. So all I'm doing right there is I'm just going from the first to the third finger. So I'm going on the G and the C and the D, I'm just going to do it on each one of those. Okay, so when the chords comes around again, I'll show you. What if I did, keep the track going, what if I did this part of the G chord and did kind of the second up to the third? Lots of good creative stuff they can do there, and I can kind of mix the thirds in there with it. Next thing you know, you got a memorable guitar part. What's the goal? Not just to thump out G, C, and D, but to create something memorable, okay? All it takes is for a couple of bars of going, hey, we already know what that song is. It's a classic. Why was that? It's a G and a C. It's because he did something interesting with it. It's thirds. Is it magical? Is it really complicated? No, it's thirds. He went right up the scale. And then when he did the C chord, he didn't even switch the F sharp, he just did the same finger pattern. Up here at C. It's creating those little nuggets of ideas that can create great guitar parts. So I've got one more to show you. We did thirds, we did sixth. If I flip the sixth around, and I can make a 10th. It's still a G and a B. It just now the G is way down low and the B is still up here. So there would be a G chord. What if I did it here on a C chord? It'd be a C and an E. D chord. Okay, so turn the track on. Let me play with those. These are 10ths. Now, hey, I added that open G, which happens to be a convenient note in between all of those. I got some really creative stuff out of that. That's some keys of how to build interesting guitar parts out of the same old stale chords that you see all the time. For me, the issue is just force yourself to not do the normal stuff. For me, I have to force myself to be creative. Once I can do that, then I've got these 15, 16 things that I have listed there for you to try. Those are some keys. Take them, work with that practice track, work on these different concepts, and learn all that you can. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. We will see you guys next time.